Welcome to Psychbusters. Today we will be debunking or confirming common myth/claims on human memory and social behavior.
Hi, my name is Alexa Adams, and we're also going to be going over the social behavior, the myth, opposites attract. So for opposites attract, it gained its popularity mainly around this day and age and decades because of pop culture. Pop culture really romanticized the idea of opposites attract, and an example of opposites attract could be like the high school jock or the college jock getting or dating the shy and quiet girl, or just two completely different personalities getting together. And so just to go a little bit further with the little term and definition of opposites attract would just be being attracted to someone that you have no similarities in whatsoever. It's completely different. And another example could be introverts and extroverts, and it was stated that a lot of introverts or extroverts try to gravitate to one another. They don't really gravitate to others, and how that's also a myth to the whole opposites attract thing. So some research that I found was how, in an article called "Do Opposites Really Attract" by Psych Central, they stated that people tend to take similarities for granted and tend to focus on the differences between the two. So that would be more of not really paying attention to you guys liking the same thing. It would be mainly focusing on oh wow, this person does this but I don't do that, or this person does this and does this XYZ but I don't do these things, is kind of what they're stating here. And then in Do Opposites Attract by Psych Today, they revealed that partners share over 90% similarities, such as values, religion, religious belief, political stances, kind of things like that. And they also stated that people are more likely to be drawn to someone that they are similar to. So this would override the whole extrovert introverts gravitate to one another, because they're clearly stating here that in friendships and partnerships they have way more in common than they have nothing in common. So I feel this myth is a bust, because I feel research has proven that this myth is just not correct, and this myth is not being treated with the proper evidence of how it's just not right. And realistically, opposites attract could just offer a fun idea for certain people, and it just takes more than just differences for you to be attracted to someone. Research has also proven that compatibility and shared traits also play a key role in relationships, in any type of relationships. That could be friendships, family relationships, or a partnership relationship, romantic relationships as well.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and today we will be discussing a common myth and claim on human memory. The myth/claim we'll be talking about today is when old people forget something frequently, it means they have Alzheimer's. This is a common assumption, and this comes from frequent forgetfulness automatically is associated with Alzheimer's disease. It persists because memory loss is one of the best known symptoms of Alzheimer's, and media oftentimes simplifies it. Many people personally know older adults who forget things, so they make quick associations. While this idea feels intuitive, since memory loss is often associated with Alzheimer's, we need to look at the psychological and neuroscientific research that shows whether or not this belief is true. Alzheimer's is a very common disease, and it is the most common form of dementia, most prevalent in older adults, with this risk is increasing significantly after the age of 65. So why does this myth persist? This myth persists largely because memory loss is the most visible symptom of Alzheimer's, and because of how aging is portrayed in movies, news stories. Society tends to fear cognitive decline. Now let's look at a quick definition of terms. We'll be discussing Alzheimer's disease, mild cognitive impairment, normal age-related memory decline, and dementia. Alzheimer's disease is a progressive neurodegenerative disorder that slowly destroys memory, thinking skills, and the ability to carry out daily tasks. The areas most affected are the hippocampus, involved in memory, the cerebral cortex, involved in reasoning and language, and the symptoms include severe memory loss, confusion about time and place, poor judgment, and changes in mood and behavior. So why is forgetfulness normal with aging? How is it not a telltale sign that someone has Alzheimer's or a type of dementia? Forgetfulness often increases naturally with age, but that does not mean someone has Alzheimer's. Here's a quick example. Normal aging, forgetting where you left your glasses, but finding them later. Alzheimer's, forgetting what glasses are for or not remembering you ever even worn them. As people get older, the brain's processing speed slows down, making it harder to store and retrieve new information. A quick slideshow on the research. This will be brief, but it summarizes what I've learned. So, according to my research shows that normal cognitive aging produces subtle declines in processing speed and working memory, but is not a dramatic loss seen in Alzheimer's. According to Sansar, a PubMed article in 2024 found that healthier adults do exhibit mild memory changes due to the reduced efficiency in encoding and retrieval of memories. But they do not have neuron death like Alzheimer's does, where Alzheimer's really does kill off your neurons in your brain. Alzheimer's disease involves extensive damage to brain tissue and impaired functions to memory, reasoning, and even language sometimes. The Neuroimaging from Alzheimer's Association article in 2024 said that memory loss from normal aging typically involves occasionally forgetting names or appointments, but remembering them later. People with Alzheimer's don't just forget small details, they experience progressive memory loss. That affects both recent and eventually long-term memories. In the earlier stages, it is more short-term memory loss, but this affects their daily life. They're forgetting things and they're forgetting events, time and places, what day in the week they are, they're forgetting why they even need their glasses. It is more drastic. And then eventually, in the later stages, they forget even long-term memories that were already encoded in your brain. So based on the evidence, is this myth false or true? Well, according to my research, I deem this false. This myth is busted.